What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Panthers Advice. We got to talk about Ron Rivera going back to college, not as a coach, but in an executive role. That's right. NFL Coach of the Year two-time, put two-time on that, set to join Cal football in an executive role. Honestly, this is going to happen, I think, quite frequently over the next 3 to 5 years. And the reason for that is a lot of these coaches, right? They have a certain way of coaching. Let's go a little bit bigger cam real quick. They have a certain way of coaching, and if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And what I mean by that, for those that don't know, they want to coach a certain way, and these new players, because of all the rules they had growing up, and it's a lot stricter, they're not used to getting coached that way. So you got the older coaches who want to coach a certain way, and you got the newer players who want to be coached a certain way. It's never going to connect, right? They're not going to ever be able to hold hands and be gracious. It's going to be button heads all day. So as the years go on, I think we're going to start to see more and more of these coaches that were in the NFL work their way back down to college and kind of help out in this kind of executive type of role. Let me know your thoughts, man. Let's get this video started, the real video. And first up is going to be Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen finally talks about Bryce Young. Let's see what he has to say real quick.
And being the best player on the field, whether it was at Mater Dei, winning national championships, whether it was at Alabama, being the Heisman Trophy winner, national championships, and then being the first overall draft pick that the Carolina Panthers traded a lot of draft capital and players to acquire him.
So before we get into the trade details, I mean, you got to go back to Bryce Young. Top 10, top 15 high school in Mater Dei. Goes to Alabama. They've been top 10 the last 10 to 15 years. Then he becomes the number one overall pick, and this is how it happened. The Panthers got the first overall pick. They gave up the 9th pick and the 61st pick. The 61st pick is still a second-round pick, so you gave up your first and second, because there's 32 teams. 32 times 2 is 64, right? So you give up your first, late second, to get the first overall pick, but it doesn't stop there. Then you give up your franchise receiver, DJ Moore, to get the first overall pick, but it doesn't stop there. You give up the 2025 second round pick. To me, I'm thinking, okay, this is enough for the first overall pick, bro. Give up a first and a second. DJ Moore at the time was a top 10, top 15 receiver in the league. You give up a second round in 2 years, and then you give them your first next year. You give them your first next year, and this looking back at this just blows my mind. All right, because if you look at the team, and we just went over it a couple of videos ago, if you haven't already, go watch that. But we had Laviska, DJ Chark, Hayden Hurst, Adam Thielen, and Mingo. And you gave up the first. Someone's got to make that make sense. Someone's got to make that make sense. All right, there's no way you're like, okay, we'll willingly give up our first round pick next year. All right, willingly give it up because we're going to have a great team and it won't be a high pick. Bryce Young, Miles Sanders, Chuba did his thing. All right, offensive line. Don't get me started on that. All right, DJ Laviska, Adam Thielen, Hayden Hurst. And you thought we were going to be able to give up our first round pick next year because our team was going to be... The team was going to do what? Come on, man. But let's keep it going.
His rookie year, disappointment, struggle, a lot of reasons for that. But of course, in the world of football, it all gets placed at the feet of the quarterback.
Definitely true. And as we take a look, all right, just to game log from his first 9-10 games, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, 1 touchdown, no picks. All right, nothing against Minnesota. 3 touchdowns, 2 picks against Detroit. 1 touchdown, no picks, and then 1 touchdown, 3 picks. I mean, it was all bad, right? Indy game, I think, was at week 9. Yeah, that game was rough, especially. And then we see what happened at the end of the season. It got a little bit better, but let's see what else Greg has to say real quick.
Year 2 starts just as difficult. He gets benched. The word in Charlotte, the word around the Carolinas in the NFL world was Bryce Young's career over?
I'm not going to lie. You know, watching Bryce Young against the Saints and the Chargers the first 2 weeks, it was rough. But if you go back and look, Who's he trying to hit on these plays? So the first play we see right here, right? Matthews comes in motion. Now just watch Bryce Young right here, all right? They're going to run the fake bang. He's just watching Deontay Johnson the whole way. If he lets this play develop just a little bit, is it that Adam on the other side, I think? So yeah, that's Adam on the other side. If we pause it right here, cover one look, the Saints love to run the cover one look, cover two, right? The safety's going to have to choose. Over the top with Thielen or underneath with Deontay Johnson, right? What is he going to do? But Bryce Young, as you see, from the jump, he wanted Deontay Johnson from the jump. Now, that's not always a bad thing, because if you get a cover one look, single high safety, you're going to go to your guy. The difference is, though, he's trying to force it to Deontay Johnson. Now, there's a little bit of pressure, all right? There's a little bit of pressure, but he's trying to force this into Deontay Johnson. He's trying to force it quick. If he gives this an extra half a second, I mean, that's going to be money. But, he's trying to force it. And then the second play right here, we're going to take a look at where he kind of overthrows Adam Thielen right here. Take a look. Steps into the pocket. I mean, I think the game was already over at this point, if I'm not mistaken. All right, he just let it sail. Then we jump to week 2 against LA. And what happens in LA? I guess in Carolina, right? But what happened against LA? Once again, trying to force it to Deontay Johnson. And I said that. And a lot of people said, no, Bryce Young, he's just fallen off. No, because I saw what he did in his preseason game, right? The third one? It was only 3 now, I think. That preseason game versus what I saw the first 2 weeks, that was a completely different Bryce. And let's not forget all his stupid jump passes he was doing too the first 2 weeks. I mean, don't even take me back to that. But as you see, the first 2 weeks, those interceptions, trying to force the ball to Deontay Johnson. I mean, look right here, right? Chargers, what, a cover? Potentially a cover 4 kind of look. Could be a cover 6, depending on how the DB plays this over the top. All right, could be a cover 6. All right, he's got that half. All right, quarter. But you see from the jump that he's trying to force the ball there. And if you take a look right here, with all the number changes, I'm not sure if this is a backer or a nickel back, but Bryce Young should be trying to look him off. But you see Bryce Young from the jump is just staring at let's call him the backer. All right, he's staring at the backer. Now you might say, okay, this one's on Bryce, the defender's there, but he's not even the one who picks it off. That's not the problem. Sometimes you got to take a step back and you got to see, okay, how bad is the addiction? How bad is he trying to force it? 1 out of 5, Bryce is at a 5, and why is that? Take a look right here. Bryce Young sees the defender right there. Bryce Young knows the safety's over the top, right? Look at that throwing lane right there. He's still going to try and force it. In fact, he's going to throw it all the way out here, hoping Deontay Johnson puts his body on the line and gets cracked by the safety. If you think I'm lying, all right? If you think I'm lying, why do you think Deontay Johnson eased up? Right? Run this back real quick. Take a look at this. Why do you think he eased up? Because, man, if Deontay Johnson really wanted this ball right here, he was going to get popped. But that's how bad Bryce Young was trying to force it to Deontay Johnson the first 2 weeks. That right there. And I think Bryce regrets it. He's like, damn, bro. I tried to force it to you because I know you wanted the ball. And those two talked, right? They talked. I tried to force it to you. You don't go get it. I throw a pick and I get benched the next week. I mean, let that sink in. I'm trying to force you the ball. I'm putting my career at risk, right, given how my rookie year went. And you're not going to go get it? All right, bet. And then Bryce Young gets benched. Go figure that one.
Andy Dalton takes over, the veteran quarterback. And then just in elements that were kind of outside of his control, Andy Dalton gets into a car accident, and Bryce Young is thrust back into the starting lineup. Well,
yeah, that's kind of crazy how Bryce Young, he may have never got a chance again this season. I mean, it's just because it didn't seem like Canales loved Bryce Young. I mean, let's be honest, right? It didn't seem like Bryce Young was Canales' guy. Andy Dalton gets in a car wreck. Bryce Young comes back and slowly starts to improve week after week after week. And then next thing you know, he's throwing 5 touchdowns. Well, not throwing 5, but getting 5 touchdowns in a game. Man. And even with all that being said, I say that about Dave not liking Bryce, but maybe Dave was just playing, kind of hard to get, right? He's like, I'm not going to give Bryce any favors because obviously that doesn't work. So he's going to have to earn it. We'll never know. Maybe 15, 20 years from now, Dave will tell us. But let's keep it going.
To say he changed the course of his career is probably the right way to label it, because the narrative around Bryce Young right now is the Carolina Panthers have their quarterback. His performance in Week 18, 5 touchdowns, 3 passing, 2 rushing.
Woo! 5 touchdowns? 5? Not 1. We got to do this. Not 2. Not 3. Come on, man.
To do that for the first time in your franchise's history, oh no, they had Cam Newton.
So believe it or not, I went and checked. Cam Newton has had 5 touchdowns in a game for the Panthers, right? But when I checked, they were all 5 passing touchdowns. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I misread a category at some point, little box score. But I went and looked. He's had a few, but they were all 5 passing, no rushing touchdowns involved.
One of the best dual threat quarterbacks of all time. Bryce Young is the perfect example of stay the course. Stay true to who you are.
Bang. I love that right there. Stay the course, stay true to who you are, and Bryce Young did that. And if you thought we were done talking about Bryce Young, we're not done yet. Because this one gets a little bit more interesting. Former quarterbacks, we talked about former tight end before, Greg Olsen. Now Jake Delhomme is back. Delhomme is back, and he said this. I thought the Kansas City game was Bryce's coming out party as a quarterback. Delhomme said of The Athletic, all right, there were multiple times that Chris Jones had free runs on him or was coming after him, and watching Bryce stay in the pocket, absorb those hits, making the throws, that's what I noticed. Let's take a look. Is Delhomme right? All right, is he hyping Bryce Young up a little bit? Let's take a look at that Kansas City game, shall we? So clearly developed. This was what, week 13, week 12, right after the bye against the Chiefs. Then Greg Olsen talked about his week 18 performance. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 touchdowns. He's only getting better and better. Let me know your thoughts. That's going to wrap it up. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Stay tuned. More content coming soon. Panthers Devices out. Take it easy, guys.